everybody, it's JennyJ1911. We are out here at Weber Tactical in Hawk Point, Missouri. Now, Weber Tactical does a lot of great stuff, and I'm very excited to show you their facility and what exactly they are building out here in this community right now. So let's go in and talk to Adam Weber, the owner, and we'll take a look around. All right, so here we are inside Weber Tactical, and I am standing with Adam Weber, the owner, and I've got a little preview of, the facility, and this is just an amazing place. I'm so excited to be here. So I want to talk to Adam a little bit about, first of all, how did you get started in this?
We have to go through a history lesson. I know, that's a challenge some days. So to give you the shorter version, 2010 really was kind of the Kydex revolution, if you will. It was becoming available to smaller users that weren't buying thousands of pounds at a time. And so that made what the Kydex world is really today, of hundreds of guys in their garages, in their basements, with their wife's permission, hopefully. That's a whole other story about the time I ruined an oven, but anyway, I digress. So we got started in that, and really in 2010, I bought a Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380, came with the laser in it. I had some very specific reasons that I had bought that pistol. The laser really wasn't one of them, it was a byproduct, but it was really unfortunate. I couldn't find a holster that wouldn't activate the laser. So it's really not cool to walk around with the laser, coming out of your shorts, or, you're just, people are like, oh, what's that laser coming from? And then there's explanations and talking, and you just don't really want to deal with that. So back then, I bought a Kydex holster. I'd heard of this thing called Kydex. I was a deputy at the time. And so I bought a Kydex holster, and it worked for not activating laser. But it was horrible in the fact that it was massive for this little 3x2 gun. So just like every other good old American ingenuity, I thought, I think I can make this better. I don't want to buy another one. And so that some tinkering led to making holsters and being able to make things that wouldn't activate lasers. And then ultimately led us into, I got involved in competitive shooting and really found our niche in that world, building gear that didn't break. And that's probably the thing we're most known for. We have pro staff like Dylan Easley, Jay Carrillo, Bill Corcoran, Lanny Barnes, an Olympic athlete, just a host of great top-level shooters in the United States, both in USPSA and 3-gun, Steel Challenge, IDPA. And so that's what really became our flagship, if you will, of Weber Tactical. Now we also manufacture concealment holsters, we make range holsters, pancake holsters, so some of those things came later on down. At the beginning days, we really focused on competition though, and then I was still working full-time as a policeman, and in 2017 I retired, which is a running joke. I like to tell everybody I retired because it makes me feel more good about myself. No, I'm just joking. I like to tell, oh yeah, people, I retired at 32, no big deal, makes me sound important, I guess, or something, I don't know. So we did that, and then we've been full-time ever since. Just like a lot of other people, I was a guy with a toaster oven in a garage and then a basement, and then we grew. We've been in O'Fallon, Missouri for almost 5 years. We were there, and recently, just in December, we moved to this new facility, and so we are expanding and growing. We have several full-time employees, we have several part-time employees, and we're just thankful. We're very blessed. We're thankful for the shooting community, and we're thankful for the people that buy our holsters. And the one thing about when you buy a Weber Tactical holster, the people that made it care. They care about what you're going to do, whether your life is on the line because of that, whether you're going to have a good time and you're trying to make a podium finish. The most important thing to us is that you can do it safely, compete to the best of your ability, perform at the best of your ability, and do it safely. So at the end of the day, we all come home.
Yeah, and I think what's really cool is the fact that you are real people making this stuff for real people, and you understand, like you all understand what the needs are, and it makes it more personal, you know, and I think that people can really appreciate that. So it's nice to know where your stuff is coming from. So I know that you had mentioned earlier that, you know, we're in Missouri, and Missouri is actually a pretty good state for finding this kind of stuff.
Yes.
So it's nice that, you know, we're right here in the heart of that.
Most people don't realize that Missouri is a leading industry producer. Ruger's here. Mm-hmm. You have a lot of manufacturing that happens. I mean, I know it's Illinois, but you've got Winchester really close. You've got a lot of aerospace manufacturing that really comes into gun manufacturing as well. You know, we've got a great governor that has been great for bringing jobs in. Governor has done a great job of supporting the firearms industry, taking good stands against people that are not pro-gun. You know, and so I think that Missouri is really, in the last 4 or 5 years especially, like, we're very proud to be here, and we're very proud to be from here, and, you know, we're leading the way in a lot of industry in the firearms and defense communities. Yeah. So it's exciting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, okay, I know you said you did some competition shooting, and I know that we have some viewers that are comp shooters, so what kind of competition shooting did you do?
So I've shot probably most all of it. The only thing I haven't shot is steel challenge. I've never shot a steel challenge match.
Yeah.
Yes. No, there's nothing new under the sun, right? So I got my start in competitive shooting in a discipline called IDPA, International Defensive Pistol Association. When I was a deputy sheriff, there was a guy that used to come into Denny's. So about 3 o'clock in the morning, the only place to eat was Denny's, and that's where all cops were. And this guy was a truck driver, and so about 2:30 in the morning he'd show up, and he'd sit across the way, and he'd always look at us, and he'd smile and he'd wave. And so finally one day we were like, why don't you just come sit with us? You're a nice guy. And he's like, okay. And so he's like, you guys got to come shoot IDPA with me. And I was like, I don't know what that is. He's like, you got a pistol? I was like, well, of course. He's like, you got 3 mags? I was like, yeah. He's like, you got a holster? I was like, yeah. He's like, come on, next Saturday, I'll pay for your entry fee. You got to come shoot this. So I went to this thing like, you know, cool. Shot a few IDPA matches and had a good time, and then got introduced to the sport of 3-gun. So as a law enforcement officer, a competitive person, I wanted to have the most fun I could legally with guns, and 3-gun was where it was at. I mean, where else do you get to run around with an AR or a pistol and a shotgun and shoot things and flying things, and it was so much fun. And so I got really heavy into the 3-gun competition shooting. I shot a lot of USPSA early on. Now USPSA is primarily known as a pistol sport, but they do have a multi-gun. They don't call it 3-gun, they call it multi-gun. And so that they do have a version of 3-gun. So we shot some of that, and that's just, I found my love in that sport. You know, the best people in the world are gun people. That sport especially, if a gun goes down, there's 5 people that are begging to let you borrow something that they have, or to fix something. You break a bolt carrier, break something. Just a real community, and that's what I really like the most about competitive shooting. I love all the competitions. 3-gun has my passion. USPSA is a lot of fun. I've shot a couple of IDPA matches since, and so I say to anybody that's considering getting into competitive shooting, find a match and go, and just see what you like. Don't write any of them off. You know, get involved. It's a lot of fun.
Well, you bring up something that I have talked so many times with my viewers about, and that is the community aspect of this. And I feel like there is no greater community, like you said, than the gun community.
Correct.
And I feel like no matter where you go, if you have that common bond, it's like an immediate family. And I feel like those people will always have your back. And you know, we've talked about how you may have differences over what's the best gun, what you prefer to shoot, which competition you enjoy more.
Glock versus 1911. Do you hear that one?
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, they know better than they ask. Right. But I mean, you know, it's so welcoming. Everybody in this community has always been so welcoming. I've never walked into a gun shop or here or gone to any kind of, you know, gun show or convention or anything where people haven't been warm and welcoming. So it's just, it's a whole other level of community than you see in anything else. So I love knowing that community is kind of like part of your focus too, and I think that that probably plays out in your manufacturing as well, and your customer service and your willingness to be able to, you know, meet your customers' needs too. So I know that we had talked a little bit about, you know, your different products earlier. What can you tell me about, like, what's your most popular products? And, you know, do you do custom work? Like, where does all this play into your business?
Sure. So every holster is my favorite holster if it's selling. No, I'm just joking. Probably the thing we're most known for is, again, the competition stuff. So that's the gamer line. We have a 3-gun holster that has a level 2 active retention hood. So you don't have to, so like you'll see a lot of policemen that have hoods on their holster. It's very similar to that. Everything we make is optic ready. So all of our lines of holsters, even if the manufacturer hasn't come out with an optic ready version yet, we know they're going to, because it's 2022 and optics are where it's at. So we started years ago planning for that. So competition holsters are what we're probably most known for. When we got started, we did custom work. And so we don't do that much anymore. We're custom in that every holster is manufactured specifically to the firearm that it's intended to be used with. That being said, we don't do a lot of custom, you know, we're not a place where if you have a gun that's maybe super not common, or you have a random flashlight that you want to put on it, we're not the shop for that. We make a lot of holsters here every day, and so that's just not in our wheelhouse per se anymore. It was once upon a time, and so sometimes when you grow, you have to let some things go, so we've kind of done that. We do offer a variety of colors in the gamer line. So we make competition holsters, we make CCW holsters, we make range holsters, and we make pancake style holsters. So the range and the pancake, they're what most people know of a holster. And a CCW holster, we make it inside the waistband. It's a multifunction, does 3-in-1, so inside the waistband, appendix, and outside the waistband. So that trifecta holster has taken off immensely in the last year. We launched it in 2020. There was this thing called the pandemic. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not.
No.
This thing called COVID?
I haven't heard of it.
I think it's like Casper the Ghost, but nonetheless. So we launched that, and even in spite of that, prior to that holster's launch, we actually won a federal contract before it had become public. So the holster has been tested by various law enforcement military branches. Many of them have adopted it as their off-duty or concealed carry options, and so that line has grown significantly down through the years. And really, especially in the last, I would say 12 months. A lot of people bought guns in 2020 and 2021. They bought ammunition, and a lot of new beginners are really coming into the idea of, I've got this, and now I want to carry it. What's the best way to go?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and you know, even though we talk about custom isn't really a thing for you guys, but you have so many options. I don't think it's necessary.
You don't turn a lot of people away. There's a lot of options.
Right, and I mean, the products that you've shown me, I'm just mind blown by how many options you have. So it's definitely, it's so cool, and I'm so excited because I know what we're going to be doing at the end of this video, and I can't wait for everybody to see it. So tell me a little bit about your manufacturing, like from start to finish. Just give me a little overview of what you guys do.
We build all our molds in-house. We have CAD engineers and designers. It's all computer automated. We go in, we take the files of the guns, be it a scan or an actual file of the gun, and we break them down to our process. And then we do a lot of testing. So before we release a holster, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to fully load it. So if it's a 9mm, we're going to fully load it with 147 grain ammunition, and we're going to run prototypes when we get the gun to where it fits in, and then we're going to look at, you know, how the gun sits, how it sits on the body, how the gun performs. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when they buy holsters for small guns is they think that small gun, small holster. And that's okay. If you're carrying appendix or you're carrying inside the waistband, you actually want extra length to stabilize the gun so the gun doesn't become top heavy and fall out. These are things that you don't find if you don't test. We look at, you know, do we activate the magazine release? You know, if you're in a firefight and you're going to draw that gun and your magazine falls out, there's no timeout, Mr. Bad Guy, I'm not going to shoot you anymore. You know, that's a problem. It's a serious problem. And so we look at all of those things. Again, I tell everybody we're a people company first, and we just make holsters and other gear. And the reason for that is our mission with everything that goes out our doors is to make people safe. And when they need it, whatever the need is, if it's preserving your life, if it's protecting your children, if it's shooting your competition, we want you to be able to do it as proficiently and safely as possible. So there's a lot of testing. We run slow-mo video of drawing, how the gun functions, how it comes out of the holster, how it clears, how the gun hangs. So the most effective competition outside the waistband holsters hang straight. You don't want the holster tilted one way or the other, back and forth, because that affects your grip. If you don't have a good grip, you're not going to make good shots. And again, we go back to whatever the reason is you're pulling the trigger, we want you to be able to do it as quickly and proficiently and safely as possible.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So, I think that, are we ready to do what we're going to do?
Let's do it.
Okay, so
we're going to make a holster.
Yeah, we're actually going to make a holster, and I'm not going to tell you what the holster is yet, but I'll give you a little clue. What's my name? Everybody say it. JennyJ1911. Okay, so we are going to get ready, and we are going to get started.
Awesome.
Yep. All right. All right, so here we are at the first stage, and Adam is going to teach me and you how to mold a holster. So go ahead.
Are you ready?
I am
ready to make your very first holster?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to start. Most people, so the plastic comes in flat, and it's got a smooth side and then the outer side. The smooth side is where the gun goes in, and so this actually will wear your gun less than leather will, because plastic doesn't absorb kind of grit, oil, things like that. It won't maintain that. And so a lot of times people get confused when they talk about wearing on the slide, and actually it's the plastic wearing onto the metal finish, not the metal finish wearing onto the plastic. So a lot of times you can just take your thumb with even like a rubber glove, and that plastic will rub right off if you got some on it. So we're going to put it in the heater, and now we just wait and we twiddle our thumbs, and we admire how nice of a day it is out there. So 1911, what is your favorite 1911?
Well, honestly, I mean, my favorite would have to be the one I have, because that's the one I get to shoot, right? And so that's my Sig Sauer. It's a 45 ACP. That was actually my first gun.
Okay.
So I'm
go big or go home.
Exactly. I'm fairly new to the whole shooting thing, and you know, I guess I just went into a gun store and I said, that one looks cool. And I started, you know, you start handling the guns, feeling them, feel how they feel in your hand, if they feel like they fit. And I didn't know anything about calibers or anything. And actually, my stepson said, well, you gotta get a 45. or it's not a real 1911. And so I was like, all right. I mean, he's been shooting longer than I have.
Sure.
So I was like, eh. And it was, that Sig was really pretty, and so I was like, I looked at it for a couple of weeks actually, kept going back in the gun shop. Four guys were like, here she comes again. And I finally bit the bullet.
There you go.
And got it, and so yeah, I love taking it out to the range, and now my 18-year-old daughter actually loves shooting it too.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
All right, good?
Woo, yeah.
So the plastic comes out, and it's super pliable, super moldable. It's going to go on the mold, so we have our CAD design mold in there. And then this goes over, this goes down, and it's gonna pull with vacuum all the way down onto that mold. It's gonna pull it down, and in just a few minutes, we're gonna pop it out, and voila.
Okay.
What was a flat piece of plastic is now gonna be a holster.
Wow. Just like that.
Just like that. It's all magic.
So, Yeah, that's really cool.
So this is a vacuum forming process.
Okay, that's
so there's a couple different ways that you can mold bolsters. There's pressure forming, there's vacuum molding, and then there's compression forming, which is just a little bit different than pressure. And so we're vacuum molding these, and so what you see, and then we're going to air cool it out here in a second. We're going to hit it with some cold air, and it will take whatever the shape is. It will, there it goes. See? It will pull down, and it will come out as a completely formed holster.
Wow, that is incredible. And that was so cool because it was just like a bubble, and then it just sucked right down.
Pull it on down.
You can see the shape now, so
yep.
That's really cool.
Look at there.
Wow.
So you get every aspect of the gun, as you can see here. So, you know, you've got every little detail.
Wow.
And so when we build these molds, we build them 100% designed to accommodate anything on this gun that could potentially drag, anything that could potentially snag. You know, is set up, but then we're also going to give you a positive lock. So when you put your 1911 in there, when you push it down in, it's going to actually click and give you a positive audible voice or audible noise to let you know your gun's secured and you can go about your business. So in just a minute, we're going to take it over to the robot and we're going to cut all the holes. All right?
Okay, that sounds great. So we're going to go on to step 2. All right, so now we are ready to start phase 2, and we are standing here at a CNC machine, and I'm going to let Adam tell us what this is going to entail.
So one of the cool things that we set out some years ago that makes kind of different in the evolution of holster building is consistency. So one of my biggest passions was, how do you get the holster and somebody else get the holster and it fits the same, the fit, feel, and finish is identical, right? Because what you may recommend and what you like, if I don't do it the same for somebody else, then their expectation is not met and it's a problem. So the CNC machines allow us to precision trim, cut slots, drill holes, do all of that. So we're going to put this on the machine and we're going to cut the holster. When it comes out, it'll be the perfect shape, and then we'll just go fold it, and voila, we're done. Cool.
Now that those steps are done, we are going to sand our holster, and I'm going to let Adam show us how that's done.
So we're just going to go in, we're going to take all the rough edges, right? So if you have a holster that's potentially up against your skin, you can feel it's kind of sharp there. We don't want that, it's uncomfortable. So this is the step that we just go in, we deburr the edges, and we get it ready to be close to your skin without causing any kind of discomfort whatsoever.
Okay. are at the last stage. Sadly, this fun is over, but we are going to fold the holster, which I never even knew that was part of the process, but we're gonna fold the holster, and so Adam's gonna show us how to do that, and it's gonna take us all the way through completion.
Yep, the last thing to do is fold it, assemble it. We'll put a really cool Weber Tactical sticker on it, and then you get to try it in your 1911.
Cool.
All right, here we go. Generally takes about 35-40 seconds for this. You can see it's already starting to heat up. And so it, let it heat. It's a nice, pretty blue holster.
Yeah. It's the perfect JennyJ color, so.
There you go. All right. Go in here. Push this in. No lifeguard on duty, but we're going to dip it anyway.
I guess you have to be the lifeguard right now.
Right. Right. And now, it's starting to look like a holster.
Yeah. And it's had a bath.
It's ready to go. So every holster we make is adjustable retention. And what that means is that there's 2 screws here with rubber spacers. And what these allow us to do is for you, the consumer, to be able to adjust how tight you want the gun to lock into your holster. So we want a positive snap into the holster, and some people want a very extensive snap, and some people just want a little bit. So it really just depends on how you want to set your retention. Me personally, I like to set it to where when I tip the holster over, the gun doesn't come out. Yep. So that's generally what I have. So we have a 1911 here. You know a thing or two about these?
Yeah.
The 1911, and so the gun goes in and it gives a positive snap. So as it clicks in, now we know it can hold the gun upside down, and we know that it's not going to go anywhere. And there you have it.
Wow.
It's a thing of beauty.
That is so cool.
All right, we got to put the sticker on. You ready?
Okay, yeah. Now I don't want everybody to be jealous because I've got my own personal 1911 holster here.
But you too can have one at WeberTactical.com.
That's right.
All right, there you go.
Wow, that is so cool. I love that. I know. And I mean, look at that. That's gonna be great. So very cool. And now you did mention your website, WeberTactical.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And so if anybody wants to contact you about anything, so that's really cool. So, you know, do you usually go around to like shows or anything like that?
I don't travel to a lot of shows anymore. Okay. We're mainly online.
So that's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yes, the website is the absolute best way to get a hold of us.
Okay.
We have a chat feature if anybody has questions. I have the best customer service staff in the world. I'd put them up against anybody else. You know, they're great at answering questions. And the other thing is that if they don't know the question, they'll find the answer. And they'll tell you, I don't know right away. But again, we're a people company, not a holster company. We want to know, to be able to help you understand. Sometimes people don't understand how the product works or what it's supposed to do. Maybe they thought it did this, but it does this. And so we want to help you get fine-tuned just as much as you can so that you have the best experience possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am just like, this was just so much fun. And make sure you drop some comments down there in this video because, you know, any questions you have for me or for Adam, I know how to get a hold of him now, so that's pretty cool. But, you know, just let me know. And make sure you hit like and subscribe on this video. But if you want to reach out to Adam for anything, just check out his website, www.webertactical.com. And Adam, I cannot tell you thank you enough. This has been
my pleasure.
Yeah, an absolute joy to be here tonight. So it's been so much fun. I've loved seeing your facility, and I can't wait to, you know, come hang out here a little bit. So
there's some really cool things coming.
Yeah, so. I can't wait. So, all right. Well, anyway, I can't wait to talk to everybody again. And until then, take care, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their week.